Assalamu alaikum and good evening everyone. We are here to present our final year project presentation. Let me introduce you to my teammates Anisa Khanam, Umme Suhima, Aisha Siddiqa and myself Shirin, and our project title is Cardio D20. Under the guidance of Professor Tawfiq Ahmed and Professor Prasad Yasar and our beloved coordinator Professor S.G. Bhagwat. The contents which we are going to cover today is first is introduction. Here we are going to explain you a brief idea about the heart disease and the objectives. Next is literature review. Here we are going to explain you about the existing system by our great scholars. Next is methodology. Here we are going to explain you about the attributes, system design, SVM classifier, logistic regression classifier, decision tree classifier, multinomial naive classifier, random forest classifier, ensemble learning model and deployment. Next is system working. Here my friend is going to explain you a complete working of our system. Result. Here we are going to classify all the results of the algorithm such as SVM, logistic regression, random forest, decision tree, multinomial naive Bayes and ensemble learning. Conclusion and future work. The greatest wealth is health. The great proverb by Virgil. It is said that health of a man is as much important as wealth to live a healthy, peaceful and prosperous life. Introduction. Heart disease is one of the major problems worldwide. According to WHO, about 17.8 million people in the world die every year due to cardiovascular disease. This is about 31% of total death globally. Data mining techniques and machine learning algorithms play a vital role in medical centers. The techniques and algorithms can be directly used on the dataset for creating some models or to draw visual conclusions and inference for the datasets. Early diagnosis of coronary heart disease can be challenging, and computer aided methods have been created to detect and diagnose heart disease for a patient. Risk factors of coronary heart disease includes family history, smoking, high LDL cholesterol, high level BP, age and uncontrolled disease. Next is objectives. First is developed accurate hybrid data classification algorithm. Here we are improving the accuracy in the prediction of cardiovascular disease prediction, the heart disease and data investigation. Develop an efficient ensemble model for accurate prediction of CVD. Ensemble model is a machine learning technique that combines several base models in order to produce one optimal predictive model. Next is deploy the constructed model for the real-time use. The constructed model can be used for the real-time users. Next is literature review. Literature review by Sony et al. Here she has made a survey on the present techniques using data mining techniques, which are used in the current medical research mainly in prediction of heart disease. Next is literature survey by K. Polarajo et al. Here he proposed prediction of heart disease using multiple regression model. Next is literature survey by Marchia et al. Here she developed a heart disease prediction using K-star, J48, SMO and BaseNet and multi-layer prediction using Vika software. Next is literature survey by S. Seema et al. Here she focused on techniques that can predict coronary disease by mining the data containing the history health record using naive Bayes, decision tree, SVM and ANN. Next is literature survey by Ashok Kumar. Here he recommended different algorithms like naive Bayes classifier, KNN, logistic regression, SVM and ANN. Here logistic regression give better accuracy compared to all the algorithms. Next is literature review survey by Megha Sahi et al. Here she suggested heart disease prediction system using data mining techniques. Next is literature survey by Challa, Beini et al. Here he recommended prediction and analysis of occurrence of heart disease using data mining techniques. Next is literature survey by R. Sharmila et al. Here she proposed by using non-linear classification algorithm for heart disease prediction. It is proposed to use big data tools such as Hadoop distributed file system. Next is methodology. Attributes of datasets. The dataset used in this is taken from the article of Cleveland Heart Disease dataset taken from the UCI repository. The dataset consists of 303 individual data. There are 14 columns in the dataset which are described here. First is age. Displays the age of the individual. Next is gender. Displays the gender of the individual using the following format. If it is 1, then it is male. If it is 0, then female. Next is chest pain type. Displays the type of the chest pain experienced by the individual using the following format. If it is 0, it is asymptomatic. If it is 1, a typical angina. If it is 2, non-typical anginal pain. If it is 3, then it is typical angina. Next is resting blood pressure. Displays the resting blood pressure value of individual in millimeter high. Next is serum cholesterol. Displays the serum cholesterol in milligram. Fasting blood sugar. Compares the fasting blood sugar value of an individual with 120 milligram. If the fasting blood sugar is greater than 120 milligram, then 1, that is true, else 0, it is false. Next is resting ECG. Displays resting ECG of the individual. If it is 0, showing probability. If it is 1, then it is normal. If it is 2, having ST wave abnormality. Next is max heart rate achieved. Displays the maximum heart rate achieved by the individual. Next is exercise induced angina. If it is 1, then it is yes. If it is if it is 0, then it is no. Next is ST depression. By the ST depression includes by the exercise relaxation to rest. Displays the rate which is an integer or an float. Next is peak exercise of ST segment. If it is 0, then it is downsloping. If it is 1, then it is flat. If it is 2, then it is upsloping. Next is number of major vessels. Displays the value as integers or the float. Next is thal. Displays the thalassemia. If it is 1, then it is fixed defect. If it is 2, then it is normal. If it is 3, then it is reversible defect. Next is diagnosis of the heart disease. Displays whether the individual is suffering from heart disease or no. If it is 0, then absence of heart disease. If it is 1, then it is presence of heart disease. In the actual dataset, we have 76 featured, but for our study we have only choose 14 attributes because these features were important and the rest did not have much effect on the study of CVD. Suhaima will continue the slides. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum and good evening to everyone. Myself Suhaima. I'll continue the presentation with methodology. System design. This is the architecture diagram of the system where the system is provided with the input dataset. This dataset is used to train 5 different machine learning models, namely SVM, logistic regression, multinomial NB, decision tree and random forest. After the models are fed, the new instance is provided to all the models for its classification, where these 5 models classify the new instance based on the predicted probability. Also, an ensemble model predicts the final class based on the average probability calculated using all 5 models' prediction. And finally, predictions of all the base models plus ensemble model is displayed in the system. We will move to the first base model used in our system, that is support vector machine classifier. This is a supervised machine learning algorithm which can be used for both classification and regression problems. In this algorithm, we plot each data item as a point in an n-dimensional space where n is the number of features with the value of each feature being the value of a particular coordinate. The objective of the SVM algorithm is to find a hyperplane in an n-dimensional space that best classifies the data point. In this system, there are only two classes, so we'll consider two-dimensional space. To separate the two classes of data points, there are many possible hyperplanes that could be chosen. Our objective is to find a hyperplane that has the maximum margin, that is, the maximum distance between the data points of both the classes as shown in the figure. Maximizing the margin distance provides some reinforcement so that future data points can be classified with more confidence. Support vectors are the data points that are closer to the hyperplane and influence the position and orientation of the hyperplane. So these are the points that help us build our SVM. Sometimes there are outliers in the data points. SVM algorithm has a feature to ignore the outliers and find the hyperplane that has the maximum margin. Hence we can say that SVM is robust to outliers. Now, once our SVM is built, for each new data point, it is plotted in the two-dimensional space, and if it comes below the hyperplane, then it is classified as the label that comes below the hyperplane, and if it comes above the hyperplane, then it is classified as the label that appears above the hyperplane. In the SVM classifier, it is easy to have a linear hyperplane between two classes when the data is linearly separable. But the question arises is, should we need to add this feature manually to have a hyperplane? The answer is no, because the SVM algorithm has a technique called the kernel trick. SVM kernel is a function that takes low dimensional input space and transforms it to a higher dimensional space. That is, it converts not separable problem to separable problem. It is mostly useful in non-linear separation problems. Simply put, it does some extremely complex data transformations, then finds out the process to separate the data based on the labels we have defined. There are different types of kernels like linear, RBF, polynomial, etc. Selecting a right kernel which can best suit your data is obtained by cross-validation. Our next base model is logistic regression. Logistic regression is a classification algorithm used to assign observations to a discrete set of classes. Unlike linear regression, which outputs continuous number values, logistic regression transforms its output using the logistic sigmoid function to return a probability value which can then be mapped to two or more discrete classes. Types of logistic regression. There are two types of logistic regression. First is binary logistic regression, where the class has two possible values. Second is multiple logistic regression, where the class has three or more possible values. Now the question is, why do we call it logistic regression even though it is a classification algorithm? This is because this algorithm uses underlying principle of simple linear regression. Linear regression has the drawback of having the decision boundary from -infinity to +infinity. There we cannot have a finite boundary where we can do the classification. For this reason, we need to squeeze the linear line into some function. So essentially we use the sigmoid function in order to map predicted values to probabilities. The function maps any real value into another value between 0 and 1. Sigmoid function is given by p is equal to 1 divided by 1 plus e raised to minus alpha, where alpha is the linear equation and p is the probability of positive outcome, that is between 0 and 1. Using this function, the linear line is transformed into a curve as shown in the figure, and the curve is called as sigmoid curve. Now we will have the probability values squeezed between 0 and 1, but it's not going beyond that. We use logic function that takes the natural logarithm of the probability of the dependent variable being a case and creates a continuous criterion as a transformed version of the dependent variable. Thus, the logic transformation is used in logistic regression as the dependent variable. The net effect is that although the dependent variable in logistic regression is binomially, the logit is the continuous function upon which linear regression is conducted. Here is the general logistic function shown in the figure with independent variable on horizontal axis and the logit dependent variable on the vertical axis. Decision boundary. Our current prediction function returns a probability score between 0 and 1. In order to map this to a discrete class, we select a threshold value above which we will classify values into class 1 and below which we will classify values into class 2. That is, if p is greater than or equal to 0.5, class is equal to 1, and if p is less than 0.5, class is equals to 0. Our next base model is decision tree classifier. Decision trees are a non-parametric supervised learning method used for classification and regression. The goal is to create a model that predicts the value of a target variable by learning simple decision rules inferred from the data features. Decision trees work for both categorical and continuous input and output variable. Decision tree working. First, it begins with the original set as the root node. The decision of making strategic splits heavily affects a tree's accuracy. On each iteration of the algorithm, it iterates through the very unused attribute of the dataset and calculates entropy and information gain of this attribute. Here, entropy is the measure of the randomness in the information being processed. The higher the entropy, the harder it is to draw any conclusions from that information, and information gain is based on the decrease in entropy after a dataset is split on an attribute. Constructing a decision tree is all about finding attributes that returns the highest information gain. After that, it then selects the attribute which has the smallest entropy or largest information gain. The dataset is then split by the selected attribute to produce a subset of the data. The algorithm continues to recur on each subset, considering only attributes never selected before. ID3 is the most commonly used algorithm in building decision trees using a top-down approach through the space of possible branches with no backtracking. Once the model is built, for every new instance classification, the tree is traversed according to the test results in a top-down fashion until a leaf node is reached. The instance is labeled with the class associated with this node. Next base model is multinomial MB. Multinomial MB implements the Naive Bayes algorithm for multinomially distributed data and is one of the two classic Naive Bayes variants used in text classification, where the data are typically represented as word vector counts, although TF-IDF vectors are also known to work well in practice. The distribution is parameterized by vector theta y is equal to theta y1, theta y2, so on up to theta yn. For each class y, where n is the number of features and qyi is the probability p of xi bar y of feature appearing in a sample belonging to class y. The parameter theta y is estimated by a smooth version of maximum likelihood, that is, relative frequency counting. Theta yi cap is equal to nyi plus alpha divided by ny plus alpha into n, where nyi is the number of times feature I appears in a sample of class y in the training set T, and ny is the total count of all features for class y. The smoothing parameter alpha is greater than or equal to 0 accounts for features not present in the learning samples and prevents zero probabilities in further computations. Next, my teammate Anisa will continue the slides. Thank you.
Let us know about the random forest classifier. Random forest, like its name implies, consists of a large number of individual decision trees that operate as an ensemble. It is a supervised learning algorithm which is used for both classification as well as regression, but it is mainly used for the classification problem. We know that a forest consists of trees and more trees, which means it is robust and it is strong. Similarly, random forest algorithm creates decision trees on data samples and then gets the prediction for each of them and finally selects the best solution by means of voting. It reduces the overfitting by averaging the result. It is very flexible and possesses high accuracy. It is highly complex. Let us see the working of a random forest classifier. In the first step, you can see the diagram. The random forest classifier selects the random samples from a given dataset. In the next step, this algorithm will construct a decision tree for every sample. Then it will get the prediction result from every decision tree. In the next step, the voting will be performed for every predicted result. At the last, the most voted prediction result will be considered as the final prediction result. Moving on with the ensemble learning model. Ensemble method is a machine learning machine learning algorithm or a technique that combines several base models in order to produce one optimal predictive model. The techniques that are used in ensemble model are max voting, averaging, weighted averaging. These are the basic techniques that are used in ensemble model. Max voting. The max voting method is generally used for classification problems. In this technique, multiple models are used to make prediction for each data point. These predictions by each model are considered as a vote. The predictions which we get from the majority of the models are used as the final prediction. Averaging. Similar to the max voting technique, multiple predictions are made for each data point in averaging. In this method, we take an average of predictions from all the models and use it to make the final prediction. Averaging can be used for making predictions in regression problem or while calculating probability for classification problem. Weighted averaging. This is an extension of averaging method. All models are assigned different weights defining the importance of each model for prediction. For instance, if two of your colleagues are critics while others have no experience in this field, then the answer given by those two friends are given more importance than compared to the others. There are advanced ensemble techniques which are used in ensemble model. Those are stacking, blending, bagging, and boosting. Let us know about the working of an ensemble model. As you can see in the diagram, the X vector represents the input to all the classifiers. These classifiers take the dataset or the CSV file and predict some results. For an instance, there are three classes that are to be predicted. The output of these classifiers are taken by the ensemble model, and it takes the average of those results and predicts one final result. That is how the classifier works. Let us see the system working. The first step in the system working is login into the system. The second is enter the patient's health information. The third is view the probability of CVD. The fourth one is log out the system. Let us follow the steps and enter the patient's information and predict CVD. As the steps mentioned, let's log in into the system first. Let us enter an address and password. This is the user form where we enter the patient's information. Let us predict. As you can see, the processing takes a bit time, so I have already run an instance with the same patient report, and the prediction result is yes from by all the algorithms as well as the ensemble model. As you can see, we can even check the accuracy of each algorithm, and as we move on further, we can see the graph and the probability of the CVD that a patient can have. According to multinomial NB, decision tree, regression model, random forest, SVM, and the voting classifier, which is ensemble model. Let us see the results. As we saw, the probability of CVD for a patient was displayed in the form of graph, and the accuracy for the algorithms are displayed in the terminal in this way. This is the result for SVM classification. This is the result for logistic regression classification. This is the result for decision tree classification. This is the result for multinomial NB classification. This is the result for random forest classification. This is the result for the ensemble model classification. Moving on with the conclusion part. The first point is prediction of CVD by implementing various machine learning algorithms. In this project, we address the problem of prediction of cardiovascular heart disease by implementing various machine learning algorithms like support vector machine, logistic regression, random forest classifier, decision tree classifier, multinomial Knight Bayes classifier. Different types of inbuilt functions have been defined. The next point is combinatorial optimization problem. One next point is provide applicable graphical user interface. In particular, we proposed this project on web application using various web technologies to provide applicable graphical user interface. The next point is MongoDB for database operation. The proposed application uses MongoDB for database operation. And finally, the prediction results. The prediction results are displayed on the web application, as we saw in the system working. Moving on with the future work. It could be interesting to add the healthier diet to the particular given data and even methods to prevent it. The application could display the stages of heart disease and classify the given instance based on stages. The application could even display the earlier symptoms the patient may suffer from. In future, many different optimization algorithms can be implemented. Thank you so much for being there up till the end of the video.